Hello everyone, it is I, Mark S.W. Welcome back to my channel. The story so far, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, well, on my birthday, I received a letter from a mysterious woman called Miss H. Apparently, she's a fan of my YouTube channel, and she's inviting me to take part in some kind of special assignment. But first I had to do 6 challenges. They're sort of training exercises. If I completed every challenge, then she would give me a clue to give me an idea of what the special assignment is all about. And having received the last clue in the last video, I finally worked it out. It turns out I'm going up against hacker organizations, and I'm not referring to those anonymous type hackers, those mysterious ones. Now, these hackers are different. In fact, they're not just hackers, they're also terrorists. So I thought for this video I should explain to you guys what they're all about and how they came about, and also how I discovered them. Well, I've put together a chart to help you. It's down here. Here we go. I just need to find a way to stand it up and then I can go through it. Okay guys, I don't have one of those whiteboard stands, so I'm just having to use some equipment during the renovation of my house to stand this board up, which is why I have to put my head down like this so you can see me. You might not be able to see it from there, but I'll do some close-ups to help you. As you can see from this chart, I've done some coloured lines, so green for friends, red for enemies, and blue for associating with. So the first thing I should explain is what the clues were referring to. Well, the clues were referring to 6 hackers, which are these guys along here. Now, the first clue was this golden Q. I received this during the treasure hunt at Beacon Hill. This is referring to the Quadrant, because they wear golden masks, and of course their organization starts with a Q. Now, the Quadrant aren't the most intelligent of hackers, but they're very advanced in technology. In fact, I think they had a hideout where they had a calendar marking the year 2077, which gave me the idea that they could be time travelers from the future. They're very good at making robots. Not just any robots, robots that look identical to real people. Because one of their plans was to replace famous YouTubers with robot duplicates. For some reason, they have a great fondness for peanut butter. I have no idea why. Personally, I don't like this stuff. The second clue I got was this book, Little Red Riding Hood. I got this doing the slime challenge where I had to make slime. That is referencing these guys, the RHS, also known as the Red Hood Spies. These guys are very unusual. They love the color red. They specialize in hypnotizing people. Their leader is this woman called Kingpin. She wears a sort of digital mask. There were rumors that the organization disbanded when Kingpin was murdered. She was killed by a woman called the Queen of Gems, which is this person down here, which I'll get to later in this video. The next clue, I got this candy cane after completing the eat coloured food for 24 hours. Now this is referring to the Candy Minions. Apparently some of the members of the Candy Minions used to be members of the Red Hood Spies, but they changed uniforms and names. They wear suits with red and white stripes, a white mask with a red stripe, and their leader is another woman called the Candy Queen. Again, like the Red Hood Spies, they specialize in hypnosis. One of the plans they had was to go to the Hoover Dam in Los Angeles and contaminate the entire water supply with some sort of hypnotic potion. So as you can see, just because these guys are called hackers, it doesn't mean they have to hack into things. These guys do other things as well. My fourth clue was this, the skull and crossbone keychain. I got this after setting up a TikTok account and doing 5 videos in 48 hours. This is referring to the skull hackers. Not much is known about them, only their leader, this guy, he calls himself General Skull. This guy, he's a bit like the Demon Head Master. Because of the way the world is, he wants to change it. He wants to be the ruler so he can make things more efficient. Well, I admit the world is in a mess, but creating a dictatorship is not the answer. There have been rumors that he's trying to form some sort of partnership or an alliance with the other hackers, but I don't know if that's true or not. Because I know some of the hackers have joined forces before. Challenge 5 was the hardest because I had to play the floor was lava and at the same time shoot some targets with my Nerf gun. But I got there in the end and I received my next clue. A list of epidemics and pandemics. This is referring to the plague hackers. Now these guys are very mysterious because they specialize in both magic and military technology. But they haven't been seen since 2019. Their leader is this woman. She calls herself the Mask Maker. Rumor has it that she is the woman who made all the masks for all the hacker organizations. Like the plague, she too hasn't been seen since 2019. Because the last time we saw them, they weren't completely defeated and they were looking for something, some kind of ultimate mask. Apparently it's a mask that can access any computer on the planet. And the final clue, this label with lots of symbols on, and at the back, key equals 0. I got this clue after playing battleships with Cez to test my strategy and tactical skills. This was the clue that made me realize that I was going to deal with hackers, because it's referring to Project Zorgo, probably the most famous hacker organization of all. They wear V for Vendetta masks, and their leader is an android or some kind of robot. They've wanted to take down social media sites because they see them as a bad influence on people. They were the first hacker organization to make their presence known, and that was in the summer of 2018. See, Project Zorgo writes special messages in emoji symbols, that way people can't understand what they're talking about, unless one of the symbols means either a letter or a number. In this case, key equals 0. You need a special decoder wheel, like this, and you can translate the symbols. So the symbols here, when I translated them, they spelt hackers. And that made me realize that I was going to deal with these hacker organizations. Well, I don't know if I'm going after all of them, or some of them, or just one of them, because some of them haven't been active, some of them have been defeated, but there are still members out there, and the others we just don't know about. That's why I had to put this chart together so I could understand it myself, but of course so you guys can understand the situation as well. Now these 6 hackers, they do have things in common, the same enemies. There are 2 groups of YouTubers who they hate. The first group is the Game Master Network. That's the Game Master with the mask, and he put up a team to help fight these hackers. So he chose Rebecca Zamolo, her husband, Matt Slade, her cousin, Maddie Gray, and their cameraman known as Daniel. The other group who has been fighting hackers are the Spy Ninjas, Chad Wildclay, his wife, V Quaint, and they have 4 friends who used to be members of Project Zorgo, but they managed to betray the organization. Daniel, Regina, Melvin, and Daniela, aka Ali. Like I said, this all started back in 2018 with Project Zorgo. Their plan was to hack several famous YouTubers. So as well as Rebecca and Matt and Chad and V, they also hacked other YouTubers. They hacked The Scories, Ninja Kids TV, Stephen Share, and his sister Grace Share. But fortunately, thanks to the Game Master and the YouTubers all working together, they managed to stop Project Zorgo. However, Project Zorgo weren't utterly defeated, so the Spy Ninjas decided to carry on fighting them to make sure they don't carry out any more threats. Meanwhile, the Game Master continued to build up his team of Game Master spies so they could fight other hackers. So they took on the Quadrant, Red Hood Spies, the Candy Minions. They also took on some individual hackers because the Game Master has a brother and sister. His sister, I've already mentioned, was Kingpin, but she's dead. His brother is this man called Mr. X.
Mr. X?
Yes, Mr. X. He wears a sort of steampunk gas mask. He likes Diet Coke, he's into musical theatre, and he married this woman called the Queen of Gems. This woman is very mysterious. She only existed in virtual reality software, but somehow she managed to escape and obtain a physical form. She gets her strength through candy, but she doesn't like sunlight. That's her Achilles heel. At first, Mr. X was sort of jealous of his brother, the Game Master, so he set up his own Game Master team, Game Master Incorporated, which featured these sort of Men in Black type agents. They're a bit like Team Rocket, from Pokemon. They're bad guys, but they're also funny and very good at entertaining people. They do have a very funny catchphrase: money, power, money, power, money, power, money, power, money, power, GMI! They've also been in league with the Quadrant, and I mentioned those robots that the Quadrant made. Well, those that survived got turned into a new hacker group called the Shining. So they all wore black capes and put on those silver masks. So they also built this RZ Twin, which is Rebecca Zamolo's robot duplicate. And Rebecca has a telepathy with RZ Twin, so they have a sort of psychic link, even though she's a machine. There have been times when RZ Twin has been captured by the enemy and either hypnotized or reprogrammed to serve the enemy. And what I find strange is some of the Game Master says we have to save RZ Twin. Hello, reality check. RZ Twin is a machine. If she gets damaged, you can always build another one. Machines are replaceable, but people are not. Another hacker enemy the Game Master have fought is the Entity. These sort of people in white masks and clothing. Again, they specialize in hypnotizing people using some kind of milk. It seems that the Game Master has this thing about fighting hackers that only specialize in hypnotizing people. Now, the Game Master Network did face Project Zorgo. For some reason, they don't talk about them that much. As for the Plague and the Skull hackers, we know they both have the same enemies, not just Game Master Network and Spy Ninjas, but also these enemies. There have been other YouTubers who have also been trying to fight hackers. There's Rain from Hacker Spy Leaks, the Challenge Squad from Pocket Watch, and these guys called the Phantoms, who are friends with a UK YouTuber called Mega Mosho, who are also in league with the Digital Empire, former Project Zorgo members. If I'm right, there are 3 of them. There was Mr. Hacker, the Red Ninja, and Hacker Girl. Each wear different type of masks. But there have been rumors that these guys have been defeated. Well, I know that Rain resigned from Hacker Spy Leaks because she didn't want to fight any more hackers. As for Challenge Squad and the Phantoms, they just stopped uploading. No idea why. It's possible that they were compromised by either the Plague or the Skull hackers. As for the Digital Empire and the Mega Mosho, I don't know what happened to them. They just stopped fighting hackers as well. There is also another interesting thing. Over here, Stephen Scher, he too has been fighting hackers, and so his sister Grace. They've also encountered other Game Masters. So this is one example called the Rival Game Master. Apparently there are lots of different types of Game Masters all over the world. No idea what's happened to them. Some of them have gone missing. Or they could have been compromised by one of these hacker organizations, one of the evil ones. Because there was one time when Stephen Scher came across someone called the Game Master, but he was wearing a Project Zorgo mask. So it's not the real Game Master, which is this guy here. I know it's very confusing, but I've done my best to try and keep up with the story. As for the other YouTubers, I think they still fight hackers, because I mentioned Stephen and Grace, they have other game masters. I think at the moment they're dealing with either some sort of creepy neighbor or a pond monster. And Ninja Kids TV, they're still fighting hackers and other evil forces. And as for the Scories, I know they've had a lot of adventures fighting mythical creatures, including someone or something called the Doll Master, or is it Doll Maker? There's also Puppet Master, Puppet Maker. Well, basically they've done a lot of battling with dolls and puppets, you know, the kind that you get at Halloween. So some of you may ask, how did I sort of show an interest in all this? Well, one of my favourite YouTube stars is Rosanna Pansino, who specialises in baking. She was involved in one of Rebecca Zamolo's videos where the Game Master gave Rebecca a challenge to turn Ro into some sort of giant Disney princess cake. That was very impressive, I must admit. And if she did that, she would receive clues. So just like what I've done, every challenge I've completed, Miss H has sent me clues. Well, that's given me a thought though. This was the letter that Miss H sent me, well, gave it to me, because I got it in an envelope from the Norwich Sci-Fi event I went to last year. And the paper she's written it on, this old-fashioned paper, the Game Master writes on old-fashioned paper like this. So, could it be the Game Master who's inviting me to take part in this adventure and fight hackers? Because to be honest, I wouldn't mind having a crack at one of these bad guys. Show how we British kick a bad guy's butt. You see, because I'm British, we don't negotiate with terrorists. No. We insult them and then destroy them. That's what makes the British great. But I must admit, I'm not too sure about teaming up with the Game Master Network. No offense, I've got nothing personal against them, but the trouble is they don't work well as a team. They spend most of their time either arguing or pranking each other, or spend so much time stating the obvious that they run out of time. To give some examples, Rebecca thinks that she's the leader of the Game Master Network. Well, technically no, it's the Game Master who's the leader. That's why it's called the Game Master Network. Because the thing is, Rebecca has a tendency to be bossy. And another thing, in some of her past videos, she used to keep saying, girls rule, boys drool. That is very sexist. Mind you, there is a video I would like to do with Rebecca and her friends, because they sometimes do back to school videos where Rebecca is a cheerleader, Matt's a football jockey, whatever that is, Daniel is a nerd, and Maddie is a goth. And the school subject changes, and if I was to do a video with them, I would do like back to a British school, because in one of their videos, they thought the flag for the UK was the flag for England, where it's not, it's completely different. So it would be good to show them that there's a lot more to the UK than just Harry Potter, drinking tea, and the royal family. To be honest, I'd rather team up with the Spy Ninjas. I prefer these guys because they have 3 characteristics: honesty, loyalty, and bravery. Plus, I have a bit of a confession. You know how everyone has a favourite celebrity crush? Well, I admit my celebrity crush is Regina from the Spy Ninjas. You see, the reason is because I've noticed in some of the videos, she has some characteristics that could point out that she might be autistic, like me. If she is autistic, oh, be still my beating heart. I do confess, she can be overdramatic. She does have a tendency to panic in dangerous situations, which is something you shouldn't do. When you're in a dangerous situation, you must always stay calm. So maybe I can help her with that. But I think we could make a good team. I mean, I can teach her some skills that could be useful to her, and vice versa. At the moment, the Spy Ninjas aren't in a position to do any missions. I think they've gone their separate ways. They haven't disbanded fully, but after they finally beat the Project Zorgo leader, Chad got seriously ill, The update is he actually has cancer. He's got, I think, about 8 tumours in his back, so he has to go through intense radiation treatment. And V and Daniel are with him for support. Regina and Daniela have set up their own YouTube channel, so that's just started. As for Melvin, I don't know what's he up to. I know he's very keen on rock climbing, so he might have gone and done that. But one thing Chad does want to do is build a Spy Ninja theme park in Las Vegas. So he's going through a lot right now, and I do wish him luck. And Chad, if you're watching this, do get well soon, mate. So it'll be very interesting because I don't know who I'm going up against, and most of these hackers are American, and I'm from the UK, so I can't afford to travel to America. I do know that Project Zorgo do have some members in the UK. That's why Mega Mo Show were fighting them, because I think they're from Wales. I think the Skull Hackers are from the UK, but I'm not sure. I need to double check. Plague, I know they're from California because they've got a base called Complex X. I think it's an abandoned missile base. As for the Candy Minions, Red Hood Spies, and the Quadrant, I don't know. I mean, I think the Candy Minions have joined forces with the entity, but I'm not 100% sure. Apparently, the Game Master said there's a new enemy coming, but I don't know much about them. I don't even know who they are yet. Now, I know what some of you are probably saying. If these hackers are criminals, why don't we call the police? Well, yes, I do agree. This is a matter for the police. In fact, I think we should also get the secret services involved. MI5, MI6, the CIA, Interpol, and other intelligence networks. But it's not that simple, because for 2 reasons. One, we need sufficient evidence to prove that these hackers are a threat to the world. For now, the authorities just think this is just all fun and games done on YouTube. And the second reason is because some of the hackers actually have friends in high places. To give an example, Project Zorgo used to be friends with a corrupt FBI agent known as Peters. And with Peters working inside the FBI, he could do things like frame the spy ninjas for crimes that they haven't committed. So that's all I know about the hackers and the heroes that are fighting them. If you want to know more, best thing to do would be to check out the YouTube channels. I'll put all the links in the description so you know who to follow. Oh, hold on a minute. I've just got a text. It's from Miss H. Hi Mark, you're ready to start your first assignment. This is it, guys, my first assignment. The photos will give you a clue of where your first assignment will take place. Okay, and there are 3 images below, so let me readjust the camera and then we'll take a look. Okay, image 1 is a statue of an angel. I recognize that. That's the Angel of the North. It's a very popular statue up in County Durham, I think. Let's see the next image. Ooh, fireworks, an old building, and I think there's the UK flag. I recognise that. That's Quadrant. That's also in County Durham. What Quadrant is, for those of you who don't know, it's a sort of big outdoor theatre play where they go through like the history of Great Britain, everything from like when the rocket steam locomotive was first built, Romans, First World War, Second World War, and knights and jousting, lots of history involved. It's worth having a look. I went to it in 2017. And third image, oh, that's Firestorm. Firestorm was a combat robot from Robot Wars. If you're American, it's the British equivalent of BattleBots. Its weapon was a front-hinge flipper. Very popular robot, Firestorm. And that's from County Durham as well. So my first assignment must be in County Durham because the 3 images, they're all from County Durham. So that's where I've got to go. It's quite quite a long journey from Leicester. I think it's about 4 or 5 hours by train, so I better get packing and get a ticket. Oh, hang on, got another text from Miss H. Print this image off. It's got another image. Huh. Looks like a list, but you can hardly see the letters. See what you guys think of this list. Maybe it's a list of things I have to do while I'm in Durham, or maybe I have to find some things when I'm in Durham. Well, fortunately, I've got some relatives up in County Durham, so that takes care of the accommodation. So I better get packing and get my train tickets. So guys, give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful, so you know what I'm going up against. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because in the next video, I'm on my first assignment in County Durham. I'll see you next time. Wish me luck. Over and out.